When the One Ring melted, Sauron's body was destroyed. But his will, could it still whisper through the ages? Sauron fell, or at least that's what the world believed. But what if Tolkien's deeper writings, hidden across the Silmarillion, the letters and the history of Middle-earth, suggest something far darker? That the Dark Lord didn't truly die, he simply lost his form. The rise and nature of Sauron long before Mordor, before the Ring, before the whispers of power. Sauron was Mairon the Admirable, a Maia spirit of Aule the Smith. He loved order, perfection, and the beauty of flawless design. But that hunger for control twisted him, and Morgoth found him. Under Morgoth, Mairon became Sauron, the Abhorred. He learned domination, not as cruelty, but as art. To rule was to reshape the world to one's will. That is what the One Ring was. Not a weapon, but a vessel of his Fea, his spiritual essence. And that is why Sauron could not truly die, because he placed his soul inside the world itself. The fall and the flame that wouldn't die, every defeat before Mordor should have been his end. When Númenor fell, his body was obliterated, yet his spirit fled back to Middle-earth. When Isildur cut the ring from his hand, he lost form again, yet his eyes still burned. And finally at Mount Doom, when the ring melted, his last visible form vanished, a great shadow rising, reaching for the sky, and then nothing. But Tolkien writes something subtle in the letters of J.R.R. Tolkien. Sauron was not annihilated, but became powerless forever. Powerless, not gone. Because in Tolkien's world, even spirits of darkness cannot be erased, only diminished. Just as Morgoth's essence lingered in the material world, in the envy of men, in the lust for power, in the wars that never ended, so too could Sauron's will seep into the hearts of the living. He became the shadow behind ambition, the echo that tempts kings, the whisper that says, rule, the spirit that outlasts the ring. So what happens to a spirit like Sauron, when stripped of form, yet bound to the world? Tolkien leaves us hints. In the Silmarillion, he writes that the fear of the fallen Maiar remain in the shadows of Arda, unwilling to depart. Meaning, Sauron is still here, not as a ghost haunting ruins, but as a force. Maybe that's why evil never truly ends in Middle-earth, because it was never just one being. It was the residue of Morgoth's and Sauron's will, soaked into the world's very foundation. And when you look at how Tolkien ended The Lord of the Rings, it's not with a final victory, but with a fading age. The elves depart, magic wanes, and men inherit a world still scarred by shadow. That's why Sauron's fall isn't a clean ending. It's a warning that domination, fear, and greed can never be destroyed by fire. Only resisted, because evil in Tolkien's world doesn't die, it waits. So when the ring melted and Sauron's tower fell, maybe that wasn't his end. Maybe it was just the world's reminder that the shadow will always seek new forms. And perhaps somewhere in Middle-earth, in the quiet between dreams and history, the spirit of the Dark Lord still watches. If Tolkien's legendarium fascinates you, the secret lore, the divine whispers, the untold endings, subscribe for more deep dive Tolkien theories and cinematic lore breakdowns every week. Fly, you fools, straight to the subscribe button.